Hey, y'all. Welcome back to this episode of the Yes We Can podcast. Today, I have Jennifer Bardot on the show. She is the CEO and founder of the G.R.I.T community here based in St. Louis. She is an incredible woman. I am so excited for her to be on the show today. Very humbled. I was just saying to Jennifer, she and I went on a walk to get to know each other. And when I got in my car after walking with her, I had to brace myself. I was blown away by who you are, what you've been through, and what you're doing for our community.
Thank you. And I thought the same about you.
Oh my goodness. So
you've made a tremendous impact with all the work or the servant leadership that you've done in this community too.
Well, thank you. So, and we were just saying, God puts people in your life at just the right reason, at just the right time. And so our friend Alex Vaughn connected us. So kudos, shout out to Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. So Jennifer, let's just start with who you are. I love my audience to kind of get to know who's in the seat, sharing their story.
Yeah.
So, are you a St. Louisan? Like, give us background.
Yeah, I grew up in Sunset Hills. I went to Lindbergh High School. I have 3 boys. I moved away for a few years for grad school and came right back. Mm-hmm. I love being outdoors, anything with hiking, water, anything like that. I will pretty much try anything at least once.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so St. Louisan, where'd you go to college?
I went to Fontbonne University, and then I left for grad school and I went to Missouri State, and I got 2 master's degrees.
What years were you at Missouri State?
I guess it would have been, I graduated in 2009. Because I graduated Fontbonne from 2006. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because I was there from 03 to 07. I was also in grad school.
Oh.
Yeah, getting an MBA there.
I was in the counseling program, so I have a secondary education counseling degree as well as a private therapy degree.
Girl.
And I had an internship, 2 of them, because I had 2 different degrees. I worked full-time on campus at the Commerce Bank in the cafeteria.
Yes.
And then I also had a graduate assistantship, too. It was grueling. It was like 60-hour work weeks.
You are, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about, I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and obviously we went on that walk and got to know each other, but let's talk about kind of your upbringing. And I'd like to lead people to let them know really who you are and why you are such a force today.
So I guess I'm very stubborn and extremely resilient. Mm-hmm. So pretty much in the 3rd grade, I was diagnosed with a disability, and they told my parents that I was never going to graduate from high school. So that was a general learning disability. And having that,
like ADD, sorry to interrupt.
Well, I found out actually when I was 38, it's actually dyslexia and ADHD. It's because I couldn't read and I couldn't comprehend anything. And I was put in the resource room, and I've always been like, no, I'm going to do it. Because when I got to high school, I really wanted to learn German. They're like, no, you can't learn German because you have a disability. You don't even understand English. And I was like, watch me. So I took 4 years of German, but so that's always been my spirit. So it's like someone tells me that I can't do something, and I'm going to try, and I'm going to succeed. So I've just kind of always been that ornery, girl. But I did it all. I was an NCAA cheerleader. I danced. I did baton. I did drill team. I did modeling. I did it all. And I always worked a ton. So, yeah.
Good for you. NCAA cheerleader. That's amazing.
Yeah. I was the one that they tossed in the air. I was the flyer.
Of course you were.
I rolled both my ankles, busted them. But I still did the basket toss, and I just taped it up while we were in a competition, kept going.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever, one of my girlfriends from high school, I cheerleaded, but was never that good. Went and auditioned for the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I feel like you would have been a perfect.
No, I never did.
You never?
Mm-mm.
No.
I was really focused on, getting my undergraduate, because I was the first one in my family on both sides to actually be a first-generation college student.
Seriously.
So it was just a funny story. So now that I have the 5 accredited courses through University of California, Berkeley, I was denied from every university that I applied to when I was a senior. And now that I have that, it's just so funny. So I started at Merrimack because my ACT scores were crap, and I didn't even know you had to take an ACT score, like an ATC test to get into your undergraduate program. But no, I had to work really hard. So I just focused on school and working.
Amazing. So right there is an awesome testimony of somebody. So we all learn differently, right? And back in our day, we were about the same age. We weren't really getting diagnoses like that had that helped people with ADHD and other learning disabilities learn differently, because that's all it is. Our brain just works differently. Mm-hmm. I don't remember anyone having dyslexia.
No.
And so for those of you that may be going through that diagnosis, or have a child with a quote unquote learning disability, we'll continue with her story, but I'm not sure if you caught her saying she has 5 courses that are now in Stanford?
Yeah, they're accredited through University of California, Berkeley.
Berkeley.
But the VA school, virtual reality school, is actually Stanford University endorsed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And I have 2 masters, which again,
let's
like
just take
the
a
whole,
moment.
that's what I realized. I was like, once you actually understand how your brain learns and you focus, which is really hard with ADHD, and then, you just, put your all into it, it can happen. I made Dean's List. I graduated a semester early, 2 masters. They're paid for.
Girl.
So, I know.
So similar in that I always did all right in school, but I was never diagnosed with ADHD, but I ended up in grad school with a grad assistantship. They were paying me to go to school at
same.
Missouri State.
Yeah.
So, it is, I mean, who doesn't have ADHD these days, especially with internet and all the things, but I just really I love when people share their story and open and vulnerable about that, because there are people that not everybody is a straight A student and learns the exact way.
No, I was a 2.5 student. I was a C student in high school. And I never even told anybody that I had a disability till I was actually 38, when I actually had the courage to say it. Because it was always something that brought me shame, because it made me different.
Yes.
Whenever the teacher would call on me in class to read, oh my gosh, that was causing me extreme anxiety. My hands would get, all sweaty. And being a girl and not knowing how to read very well is also a challenge. And then I was just talking with someone that coaches folks on how to do TEDx talks. And he's like, well, yeah, and the way you look, because you're blonde and blue-eyed, you're automatically perceived as being dumb. And I'm like, that's what I thought. Until my mom was like, okay, go get your IQ tested, and it showed that I was actually gifted. So, but I just read. Girl. I can't read really well. And I still struggle with it, which is why I publish books. So
awesome. Oh, we're going to get into that. I just love this. And I hope that I know for a fact, Jennifer, that people listening right now, there's people in the audience that are hopefully relieved and don't feel alone, because when you have a disability or you're different, it does feel isolating.
It does.
Right?
And everybody looks from you from the outside and they think you've got it all figured out and everything's so easy, but you don't really know what's ever going on inside.
No, and everyone has a story, right? Yeah. Everyone struggles in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so holy smokes, degrees and internships and businesses. Okay, so after college, what did you do post 2 degrees? Did you, or master's degrees? Did you get married right away? Like what was what did you do after grad school?
Yeah, I actually did get married pretty quickly after grad school. I bought my first house, and I actually started working as a recruiter in college because I wanted to help others see that there was a different path than what their family had kind of exposed to them, because that was my route. My family are all entrepreneurs. They've all been in their own businesses. But I realized that there was actually a gift of learning, different skills. I have an undergraduate in business and psychology, and then I got the 2 masters thinking I was going to be a private practice therapist, So you never know what life kind of takes you. But yeah, I got married. I ended up then working for my mom and my uncle's company, and I led their Missouri office. We had 3 different offices. We were a national appraisal company, so we did residential commercial appraising. So I learned all about real estate and how to really leverage resources and financing through homes and that kind of avenue with mortgages and so forth, and equity in your properties. We did Oregon, Missouri, and Illinois. And then after that, I ended up helping my husband at the time rebrand himself, because he was a life insurance producer, and he switched to be an employee benefits producer. So I was behind the scenes helping build out his LinkedIn content and social media branding. And then that actually led me to running the financial aid department in Theological Seminary. So I was helping future pastors and ministers secure student, anything to help student loan debt. I would secure scholarships and different donor funds within our university. And then I realized that I really liked helping people, and finance was always something I was really interested in, because there's just power when you have finance, when you understand finance. So I joined Enterprise Bank and Trust. I was hired in as an AVP. 3 years in, I ended up making President Circle, senior business banker. And then that's where Grit was flourished from, because I saw a need to bring our community together and have a diverse network of innovation thought and thought leadership.
Oh my gosh, all these questions are entering my mind. Faith life. You mentioned, have you always been a believer?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic. I've always been a believer. All my kids are baptized. It's been a little bit more difficult to get them back into the church through PSR and so forth, but definitely a believer. Definitely I pray when I'm at my lowest, but I have always been close to God. So Yeah.
Well, and our kids do more of what we do than what we say. So they're going to
100%.
see you and see what you're doing and using the gifts that God's given you, right? Because he gives us all different skills. We're all different. We're all unique
Right.
and made in his image. And so they're going to see you using your gifts to help others and change our community. And you think about the ripple effect that's going to have on all the people you've connected with. I mean, over 300 authors, which again, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
And the ripple effect of that and their families, and then your kids, your 3 kids, they're going to go off into the world
Exactly.
with a incredible foundation of what it looks like to help others, and hopefully realize, like, it's not about us.
It's not. It never is.
It's about what the gifts that God has given us to share. He gives us those to share with others.
And that's why I try to motivate others to really live out and own their purpose, because it is those gifts that we need to share and step into. So if you're hiding those gifts, you're doing everyone around you a disservice. So
Totally.
I really try to help motivate people to step into that unknown and embrace who they are and be comfortable in their own skin.
I mean, you do a great
I
job
do
of
that.
it.
But whenever I start to question my purpose, I'm like, am I on the right path? That always comes back. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm making an impact. I know I'm changing lives. And that's what I was born to do.
Exactly. And I do believe we all have a purpose. I really, truly do. A calling. And once you figure that out, and like you said, it's not always what we studied in school. I happen to study marketing and sales, so I definitely am in that line of work-ish. But what you study isn't always what your purpose is going to be, right?
Yeah.
But we learn from every experience that we have,
100%.
the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm really, I just love who you are, your being. I can't wait to hear more.
Thank you. Yeah, I never perceive as being perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but I love trying to help people figure out who they are and highlight them in all of their successes as well as their pitfalls, because they just get reinvigorated and they get more in alignment in who they are.
Totally. And that's, I don't know about you, but I feel like in our middle age, which is hilarious that we're middle age. I feel I stopped at 27, by the way. That's where I stopped counting birthdays.
I feel like my spirit is a 20-year-old, but I'm definitely in my 40s.
Totally. But I mean, it's really like, and even talking with men about this, like, it really is, we're entering a different chapter in life, right? Like, we're full-blown adults. Our brains are formed. We've lived life a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's our job now to address things that maybe we haven't addressed in the past, whether it be childhood trauma, things that have happened in relationships, for us and our children.
100%.
Right? And so if we can become a whole version of ourselves and heal and grow, and I mean, we aren't ever healed, right?
No, we're always works in progress.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's the journey, right? But if we can finally get to a point where we can admit, okay, these things that have happened in my life, I want to learn more from. And I want to learn why I act this way and why I act this way in relationships and how I view different things, because it's all made up of what we've been through, right? It's like
and modeling as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we're whole as a person inside, that's how we can live a truly beautiful, joyful life and be someone else's other half.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. I remember on my healing journey when I started to actually verbalize that I had this disability, and it was something that I always hid in the closet because it brought me shame and it always messed with my self-esteem. I had to visualize myself going back to that 3rd grader, that 9-year-old, and giving her a hug and saying, you got this.
Yes, ma'am.
It's those things that have happened in your life that you have to acknowledge and then heal. So then you can move forward. Otherwise, those traumas are always going to be a barrier in some aspect of your life.
And they're going to manifest in other ways.
100%. And confidence is one of my issues. And I'm so hard on myself, which is probably why I have this crazy drive. But it's because of the fact of so many different factors in my childhood.
Totally.
So.
All of us. And it's healing that inner child, right? No matter who you are. No one's home life was perfect. So interestingly enough, I went to an intensive trauma retreat in my 30s and learned so much in that few days about my childhood, my relationships, my parents, my relationship with my husband, all of the things. And it was one of the things that I remember, that I think about often, is when people are pointing the finger at you, which happens a lot. Really, it's the 3 fingers pointing back at them.
They're projecting.
projecting, that needs to be healed.
Yeah.
Right. And that just was so profound to me. And so if anyone does ever throw shame at me or negativity or what have you, I'm just like, it's what's going on with you.
Something is triggering them, and that's why they're getting defensive and projecting on you. And I'm always the first to apologize and own up to my mistakes 100%. Or if I've done a misstep or try to make it right, because I know that I don't always do everything correctly, but there's always lessons to learn how to show up differently or how to, look into a different perspective or a different lens and have empathy. But I remember I gained a lot of that self-reflection and EQ when I was going through my master's program, because it was very intensive and you learn a lot about yourself.
You do. And that's the key to success, right?
Yes.
Learn about
100%.
yourself, learn and grow, always be learning.
I always encourage folks that are, kind of tiptoeing around who they are and having that self-doubt, go take the Myers-Briggs, take the DISC, do the Enneagram, do the work to figure out who you are and what your unique gifts and talents are. And then you also get access to your blind spots.
Totally. And it all starts to make sense. So if you haven't done those personality tests, those are wildly impactful and often are free online. There's the DISC test,
Clifton
Enneagram.
Strength Finders.
What is it?
Clifton Strength Finders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of those easy to find online.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, so many questions, so many things going through my head. It's like we're not going to have enough time. So, okay. So you get married shortly after grad school. Where did you meet your husband?
At the Lake of the Ozarks.
Lake of the Ozarks.
I had a residential and commercial cleaning company at the Lake of the Ozarks right after my undergrad.
You just started.
Yeah, I started a business.
Just a business.
And I got a couple condo complexes, but I quickly realized it was such a seasonal industry, and most of my employees were bartenders that were working in the evening, so then they had a job during the day. And it was great, obviously, as a 21-year-old, I had a successful company, but I realized it was going to be very difficult to scale because it was such a seasonal market. So that's when I went back into grad school, and he was actually at WashU in undergrad, and I was older at I was actually at Missouri State getting my master's degree. But we met because one of my friends was in town from Mizzou, and she was friends with his older brother. So we met at Lake of the Ozarks. It was the Gold Horny Toad. They've changed the name now. I think it's called H Toad or something.
That's
they churched it up. And then, we dated for 6 months, and then we're engaged and married.
Wow.
And now divorced, but yeah.
And then you had 3 children.
I have 3 beautiful boys from that marriage. I'm very fortunate. Yep.
Yeah. How old are they now?
I have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. Yeah, my 15-year-old's actually getting ready to start high school. I'm like, how do I have a high schooler? I'm like, oh, wait, I had kids young. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Wow, I know. Time flies, right?
It does. And it's wild seeing these little babies that I've, coddled and so forth and nourished, and here they are having their own full-blown personalities. And I love talking to them. They're so entertaining, and each of them are so different.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful.
It is.
I'm at a point, my oldest is 9, my middle is 7, my youngest is almost 6. And the beginning stages of their life, the baby stage was tough for me.
Very tough. I would agree.
Sleep.
Yeah.
And, we're in St. Louis without family here. It was tough. But now I'm at a point where I love it. I love being their mom. I love when they come cuddle with me. I mean, I'm sleeping now, so things are a lot different. But I just
no more diapers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Because I did 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So as soon as one was out of diapers, the next one was in diapers, and so forth.
Girl.
Yeah, crazy.
3 kids in 3 years.
Yeah.
Wham bam. Thank you.
Wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And the third being a boy. Whole nother ball game.
Oh my gosh, there's so much energy in my house with 3 boys. Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. So much energy.
Yeah. But I never have to worry about we need this outfit, or I need my hairstyle this way. It's very laid back.
Yeah.
It's more hey, I need that scooter.
Yeah.
Or I really want to go dirt biking or go,
right.
skating. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So 3 boys very quickly. And then how old were they when you and your husband, and we don't have to dive deep into this.
Sure.
How old were you when you guys decided to part ways?
My oldest, I think, was in the 3rd grade, so he would have been 9, so 9, 6, and 3, so pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it took us 3 years to actually get divorced. So officially divorced, not this June, but last June. Yeah.
It's so interesting now that we are in this stage of life. I see so many people getting divorced, and I always say to people, because, it can be embarrassing and shameful, right? But I think the statistics now are 60% of marriages end up in divorce. And you think about the marriages that are still intact. Sure, there are some beautiful marriages, but think about the relationships where they don't want to be married, right?
Yeah.
And I always have heard you would much rather be unmarried wanting to be married versus married wanting to not be married.
Yeah. And I misspoke. It was 12, 6, and 9. I've clearly blocked that out.
It's fine. Details.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it is true because marriage takes work, but any relationship takes work. Even right now, I'm like, I've been married. I don't ever think I want to do that again, but I do want like a committed partnership.
100%.
But that's going to take work. And I have to learn all the lessons that I've learned in all the relationships I have in the past to grow and be a better partner for my person. So.
Well, and you think about, the lessons we've learned, it's like, again, becoming that whole person, then you can be another person's whole half, right? And you think about when kids get married young, totally fine, totally fine if you get married young.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I always preach, like when my little nannies or, people younger, talk with me about their relationships or what have you. And I'm like, listen, in my mind, between 20 and 30 is when you figure out who you are.
Exactly. You have to have your own identity.
Correct.
And you can't chameleon. You can't pretend you're something that you're not.
You can, but it'll bite you in the butt. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so our brains are still forming in our 20s. And yes, there's something to be said about getting married young and growing together. But there's also something to be said about figuring out who you are, making those having those trial and errors, getting a career established on your own.
Right.
Learning
to have empathy, giving grace, open communication. Like there's
healing
so
your inner
many
child.
Yeah, there's so many different aspects of actually having a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And so many people just kind of go mute too. Like when they get into a conflict, they don't speak up. Well, then you build resentment. And then you have this avoidance and it's just not healthy. But you learn so much through these lessons and these hardships for sure.
Yeah. And then we can, my situation's different. Obviously I'm a widow, but
Right.
We can go and spread the good news that it's never too late.
Never too late. No.
Always, get to know yourself better and heal. And, there's if God willing, there's someone else out there so that we don't have to live life alone.
Exactly.
But if you and I and all of us, in our 30s, 40s, what have you, are happy and healthy and joyful on our own, then it's like we're not going to cling to this relationship.
Yeah, do it for you.
For you.
Yeah,
to enhance
100%.
Your life. Enhance
Exactly.
your life. Not fill a void,
No.
right? Or fill a God hole, a God-sized heart, or hole in your heart with some people, places, things, whatever. It's so anyway, we could totally go
I watched
on
my
and on.
grandma. She was married at 16, and then I think my mom was like 20, and she had me at 21. My grandma had my mom at 18, so I was old mom, having my first at 26. But that's like still really young, right? So it's like I just remember I was one of the last of my friends to actually get married, and
Same.
I was not the high school sweetheart. My parents and my sister, high school sweethearts, and it was interesting because there's so many different dynamics in a relationship. So you have to have personality. You have to make sure you like the family. You have to learn, do you have the same interests? Like there's so many factors. It's like, just don't rush into anything because, and you have to like understand if you're going to change, you're not going to be that person you were when you guys met. 100%. You have to learn to grow together.
Well, and having kids is a whole
other
ball game.
wax. Yeah. Because your lifestyle switches,
Well, you're no longer just fancy free and footloose. You're now a wife and a mother. And
working and trying to have self-care.
Correct. So it's that foundation, right? Like, which I believe, like, if faith is a foundation, like faith cannot be rocked, right? And it's a choice to continue to work for it. And sometimes it just, it doesn't work. And again, I just feel like we're surrounded by that these days. And
there's a lot of temptation, and unfortunately, our social media does that, and it's sad because it doesn't really encourage healthy relationships. It's more like, here, take the bait. It's a temporary fix,
Yeah.
So
it is, but it's all good. Never too late to have a healthy relationship and continue to be a healthy person. Right?
100%.
Okay, so we're moved on from that, and now I want to go into how Grit started, a little bit more about that. And I mean, I'd like you to start from where it started, from the very first thought in your mind.
Yeah.
This is what I think I'm called to do.
It was so wild because I can actually visualize that moment.
Love it.
I was at the Lake of the Ozarks at my lake house, and I was working out on my elliptical. And I was looking out at the lake, and I was like, I had an epiphany. I wanted to write a book. And I was like, I'll write a book? I don't even like to read. But I'd been reading a lot of Brene Brown and like these inspirational leaders that were actually filling my cup to allow me to actually have my own identity. Because I was a mom first. I was a wife first, and then I was a mom. And I'd always put my career secondary. Well, when I joined Enterprise Bank, my life changed and I was able to do it all, right? Which is always what I've always wanted to be able to do. And I had an epiphany that I needed to write a book. And then I kept thinking about it deeper. And I was like, actually, it's not a book just with me. It's a book with a bunch of stories. And at the time I had this friend that she was a mentor to me, and she was going through similar personal challenges. And she also had 3 boys. And I just looked up to her because she was a stay-at-home mom. She poured into her family, and then she started this incredible career. And like every time she hit this goal, I was like, I'm going to have that same goal. And I hit it, so she was very inspiring and motivating, but I didn't even have the courage to write my first book by myself. I brought her to this idea and she's like, yeah, let's do this. So I launched my first book actually during COVID. I had 3 kids at home, one's in diapers, one's starting kindergarten, learned how to read virtually. And he's the one who's like super high energy. So he's like screenshotting himself on the technology, and he's duct taping 2 like soda cans together with this straw. And like my other one's like super smart. So finishing all his homework by 6 a.m. So life was crazy.
Yeah.
But I still took on this challenge because I saw a need of creating hope through hardship. And I thought it was really powerful to share women's stories to show that there was a way out. You're never stuck. And to actually unveil leaders that look like they have it all figured out, that we really don't. And we've gone through hard things. And when you share their stories, it's inspiring for someone to see themselves in a leader so then they can rise. So yeah, the first book actually came out of COVID, and my book launch party was at Ameristar, like out by the pool. And it was one of the first events that most of these folks had actually come out of their house in 3 years for.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, really incredible. And I thought it was going to be like a one and done. And then I switched industries. I left the bank because I joined the big leagues, as I say, because I was helping small businesses with Enterprise Bank. I joined Willis Towers Watson, and I became a health benefits producer. And I was helping really large organizations. And I was the only producer that was female in the Midwest region. So I really had to own my grit because I was learning a new skill, and just, it was a challenge, right? And I love challenges. And literally my chapter in growth is called Accept the Challenge, which is what I did because on the anniversary of growth 1 year, I decided to leave corporate America and start Grit full time and just, guns a-blazing. That's what I did. I started building, and here I am today. I have 7 books that I've published. They're all international bestsellers, 5 accredited courses. I have a community of men and women who are getting different access to thought leaderships, AI pods, trusted advisor pods, one-on-one coaching, anything that they're needing to help with their, leadership and development, I'm trying to provide. So it's been an incredible journey. But it was all because I listened to myself and held on to that goal and then hit it and brought it to fruition. So
goal, crush, repeat.
Yeah. Right.
So something I want to start with is I also too, I used to run marathons, half marathons, I lived in Northern California. And while I was running, you were talking about exercising, in nature is when the best ideas have come to me.
Always. Because it's God's country.
It's God's country, and God speaks to you and gives 100%. You these clear visions. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's funny that you say that. I'm like, I've been there. Yeah. I have picture, I definitely don't have a photographic memory, but I specifically have like screenshots throughout my life when I've gotten ideas or the Holy Spirit's spoken to me and like things have just flourished, right? And that's how God's got you. Those reminders, right? Those God winks, those feelings. Like that's not man-made.
For me, it's always water. I'm an Aries. I'm always fire. I'm always...
Yeah.
So whenever I'm around water, it brings me peace. And it allows me to actually tap into my creativity. Yes. And there's moments like that where it's like, I remember being in Chicago and I was like 20 and lost, or I think it was 18 and lost. Like, what the heck am I going to do with my life? Yeah. I didn't get accepted to any colleges. All my friends are leaving either for the military or for college. Mm-hmm. And I just remember looking out at Navy Pier and I was like, I'm going to school and I'm going to do this. And I started at Merrimack and I got my associates, transferred into Fontbonne. But it's like, for me, it's always in nature and around water.
Mm-hmm. And where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Right. I always joke with people because, I do a lot of fundraising. I was in sales and I do a lot of fundraising for cancer research. And I'm like, yeah, no. So when people say no, it's kind of a not right now for me.
That's my mindset too.
Is it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm like, cool, I'll get back to you.
I don't handle no well at all.
Yeah,
and that was one of those words that actually populated in my childhood because I heard no all the time. And I'm like, it's just a no right now. It's not a no forever.
Yeah. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
That's hilarious. Okay. So you start Grit, and exactly what is it? How does it start? And also, I want to point out, remember how she said she had ADHD and someone said she'd never graduate in high school? I mean, come on.
It's funny,
Degrees, books.
Well, that's why I really like to say, don't allow people to put you in a box. You only know what you're capable of. So don't allow naysayers to play fortune teller through life. That is like literally what I live by. Because if people say that there's something that you can't do, you need to figure out why is that, what are your insecurities, and make sure you're working on those insecurities to gain the confidence to do whatever it is you set your mind to.
Watch me.
Yeah, watch me. Fire.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
But
more about the community. So you wrote your first book.
Yep, in 2021. Okay. It was an international bestseller in 8 countries. Obviously grassroots effort, but I was in a mastermind and I had watched a lady who published books here locally do what she had been doing, and I reached out to her. So I hired her as my publishing consultant. I've worked with her ever since, and I have the same PR team out in California ever since. So I'm very loyal when I find relationships that I value and I trust, and I know that it's reciprocal.
Of course.
But yeah, it ended up getting picked up by like Target, Walmart, Barnes and Noble.
Are you kidding?
Amazon Kindle. No,
that's insane.
It was insane. And
what's it called?
It was called Owning Your Grit.
Owning Your Grit. And also
40 stories of women.
40 stories in the anthology.
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out here too. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I hate when I do that.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, copy genius. So something I learned along the way is, and I tell this to young people I talk to today, because I'm actually currently hiring for an intern.
Okay. What role? Now I've got to be a recruiter because I love that.
Yeah. Someone that wants to help assist me with all my things, and learn about marketing and sales and how to run a business. And, anyway, I learned when I was younger a term called copy genius, and that's find somebody that's done something that you want to do, and connect with them and ask questions, lots of questions, and ask them to be your mentor.
And when I do coaching one-on-one, I always say, because some people come to me to help them with their keynotes,
right?
And I'm like, who is a keynote that you respect and you want to be like? Mm-hmm. So start acting like that person. Always step into the future self that you want to become. Yes. And it's kind of like acting, but then that's how you actually change your life, because the habits will come. Yes. You'll live with intention and you'll get more focused and strategic. 100%. So yeah, I love that.
Have you done a TED Talk?
I've not, but I'm working on trying to secure one.
Okay, girl.
That's what I was introduced to someone yesterday that's gonna potentially help me. But that's on my bucket list, because I'm like, I've been a national keynote. I spoke for National Women of Asphalt. I've done a lot of different things, and I want to be able to share my story to inspire more people. And maybe those people that have been put in boxes because of what reason can see that there is potential. You just have to own who you are and not listen to the naysayers.
Break that ceiling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to know when that TED Talk is, because I'm going to be front row.
It hasn't happened yet. I haven't even applied, but I am. I'm making it happen. I'm going to make it happen.
Come on.
So
it's going to happen.
I'm going to make it happen.
Okay. So Own Your Own Grit is the first book.
Yeah. Own Your Grit.
Own Your Grit. Sorry.
And then the second one was growth. Third one was resilience. Fourth one was intention. And then fifth one was tenacity. My sixth one was living well with grit. So that's all about the evolution, choosing joy, choosing to be you. And then the last one I published last summer was Successful Entrepreneurs with Grit. That was the first book that I actually opened up to men and women, because I want to have a level playing field, because it doesn't matter about gender when you're an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is hard, and you have to have grit. You have to show up every day. And the one that's coming out actually this September is called The Power of Grit, and it's all about mental fortitude. So everything that I've done is all on the aspects of grit, which I trademarked. I actually own that word, which is crazy. So I own the word grit.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. It took 2 years to get that, but I made it happen. But
of course you did.
Yeah. So the mental fortitude is all about how we have our own self-limiting beliefs. But once we're actually able to see we have the capacity and the capability, that's when those doors unlock. That's when we go to the next level.
Girl.
Level up.
I'm all about this. So publish book. And you have, tell me about, you've helped other authors.
Yeah.
You said, I've heard the number 300.
Yeah. So in each of the books, there's generally about 40 to 30 authors in each anthology. Mm-hmm. But what's really cool is when these authors come in and they participate in my anthologies, I've witnessed them change, transform. and level up. They've either switched careers, they've started businesses, or they've published their own books. So it's been really cool to witness this and watch them, gain more confidence and get reinvigorated, inspired. So that's why I keep doing this work. And I'm very intentional with every book that I publish. It has to come from within. It's not a sales tactic. It has to make sure that it makes sense. And it's all in the, realm of grit.
Yeah,
So,
you're empowering people.
Yeah.
Right. And so, okay, let's talk about the grit community, because this really is a movement, right? And it's grown to be a community.
Right.
And is it just in St. Louis or is it nationwide?
Actually, so as I've been getting more local, advertising on different media stations, I was interviewed on Channel 5, I've gotten more members outside of St. Louis.
Awesome.
So it started in St. Louis. Some of my authors are outside of St. Louis, but I have members in Kansas City. I have members in Florida. I have members in Washington, D.C. So it's expanding. And that's essentially why I wanted to have those accredited courses, so I can get out to more who need this resource. This isn't meant just for St. Louis. This is meant for anybody that is kind of on the outliner of the bell curve, where they don't really feel like they fit, or they're just needing to get a little bit more tenacious, a little bit more intentional, have a little bit more of that growth mindset, or just regain their resiliency. And for me, it's like every year, this year is my year of resiliency. Last year is my year of being tenacious. And then 2 years ago, I was very intentional about being strategic about building grit. So every year is a different one of those words in that acronym.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the grit community? How do you become a part of it?
Yeah.
I know you hold different
events
and
Yeah.
roundtables, and so let's hear about it.
So Grit's evolved, and it was actually self-funded. So it started as an online community that I just self-funded, and then I started hosting luncheons, and then I realized that there needed to be more. What is the word I'm looking for? I'm struggling.
Substance?
No, it's like consistency. Yeah, there's an S word that I was looking for, but I can't find it. So I had to pivot quickly. But consistency with showing up and having events. So now we have 3 different tiers of membership. I make everything I do extremely accessible because I never want financials to be a barrier. So I have the first one, it's a gold membership, where you actually get access to the personal directory of all the members, social media shout outs on all the platforms. You get more visibility and branding on all the social media platforms. And then you get access to our virtual workshops. So you don't have to be in St. Louis to actually be a part of Grit, and you can expand your network. The gold level, and then get access to all that thought leadership. And I'm always surveying the community to make sure that the content that I'm providing is actually meaningful for my members. And then the next step up is all my in-person events. So I host an in-person workshop as well, a virtual workshop and an in-person lunch and learn once a month. So I'm constantly doing 2 events per month. And the lunch and learns are kind of unique, where you network in person. We always highlight a nonprofit because I want to give back. And then we have a different keynote. So last week we had our, what would it have been, July? July luncheon. We're in August.
Oh my gosh,
so July luncheon, I got to highlight 2 different nonprofits, YAPAC and Tiny Superheroes.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then our speaker was Erica Sinner. She's taken 2 businesses to Inc. 500. She's absolutely incredible, self-made. And so different inspirational speakers. And then I sprinkle in some fun events. So I have a book and brunch event that's coming up. I have a happy hour event. And then I just did an AI event at the Cortex. It was sponsored by Microsoft. So we got to learn about the cloud, and we got to learn about, different techniques of processing your business and your personal life with AI. Yeah. And then the next step up is the VIP membership, and you get all those offerings, and you get me as your accountability partner. So I'm accessible to you if you need strategic business development plans or, whatever goal you're setting, so I can check in with you and make sure you're hitting your goals. And then my 2 signature events that I host are my free community expo, which this year is at Maryville University. It was on May 18th, where we have different nonprofits, small businesses showcasing what they're doing in the community and a full day of thought leadership. But it's a free event for our community to come out and connect with new members.
Wow.
We had 8 different thought leaders. It was very cool. And then at the end of the year, I have a gala that I host, and 7 of my authors get up on stage, kind of give a high level overview of their chapter. So you're inspired and you're in community. And then we celebrate everything that Grit's accomplished that year. And then if you're a community member, you can actually nominate an individual that's had Grit. So last year I was able to give out 12 adult Grit awards and then 4 to our youth. So it's really fun. And then for the intermission last year, I hired an earlist who was pouring champagne out of a chandelier and doing flips, because I want to make sure it's energizing,
and fun, and
because some of these stories are pretty heavy, because when you have a mission statement, just creating hope through hardship, some of those are hard stories. But we celebrate the people that have gone through and done hard things. So I think you're going to be getting a nomination.
Oh gosh.
I heard your story. I was like, oh yeah, she's got grit.
Oh
So,
my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Do you ever just sit back and allow yourself to kind of see what you've done?
that's actually scary to do because I feel like if I do that, then I'll lose my drive. But I do that sometimes. I try to I had to write my chapter in mental fortitude, and I was very vulnerable because it's like the market has shifted, right? So not everybody's able to get to events or finances are tight. So I had to evolve my organization. But when I sit back and I look of what I've accomplished as a side hustle from 2021, publishing my first book to 2026, having an association, having accredited courses, like all of these things, and then witnessing the transformation and the impact that I've made in people's lives, it brings me joy, but it also like sets me on fire to be like, what's next? Totally. So like I try to sit back, but I'm also fearful I'll lose my drive.
You are not going to lose your drive, and I know that feeling.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I totally know that feeling. Yeah. And so something I was thinking while you were speaking was, have you heard the art of kintsugi? Mm-mm. Okay, it's about it's a form of art where you break a bowl.
Oh, this is so funny and so serendipitous because I didn't recognize that word because of whatever. But the author that I wrote my first book with, that's the title of her chapter.
Seriously?
Yes. She's the second chapter in that book. You'll have to check it out. So yes.
Of course I'll check it out.
It's healing.
So you break a bowl.
Yeah.
And then you put the pieces back together with gold.
Gold. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm like the symbolism and the mess. You think about something, you think you're whole. You think, you're this clay pot and then it's broken and you can't put all the pieces back together, but you fill it with gold and it's even more beautiful.
Exactly.
I'm like,
you're giving me goosebumps because yes.
It's amazing. Yeah. So I've been talking about that so much. So 2 other gals and I are going to be putting together a grief wellness retreat.
Oh, I love that.
And that's something we're planning on doing. We've been talking about that. I've since we had that meeting and decided that was going to be a part of the retreat, I have talked with so many people about it and heard it from other people. It's like God's like, this is your thing. I'm like, okay, God, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I had never heard of that until Carrie had published that in her story.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so powerful. And it's so beautiful because it is. It's all the flaws that make you who you are and all of the challenges and the things that you thought broke you, but they actually made you who you are.
Correct. And I've also heard too, you think about a broken glass or a broken bowl and that like God shines through those cracks.
Yeah.
Like those of us that have been through a lot, and everybody's been through something, oftentimes do shine brighter.
Yeah.
And also those of us that have been through traumatic events or episodes or, that we actually live and lead more joyful lives and are more grateful.
We're grateful because we don't take advantage of the things that we've been given because of the hardships that we've been exposed to. Yeah. I've written in every one of those books that I've published and I've shared different stories that have shaped me and who I am. And I'm at the time when you're going through it, you're not grateful, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, why me?
Of course.
Why me?
Of course you question God, you question yourself, you question everything.
But it's like, once you get on the other side, it makes you that much stronger and have that much thicker skin. Oh, yeah. And you have wisdom now to prevent you going down that same path.
Absolutely. And can help others.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. That's what this is all about. We are 100%. All connected. And I truly believe we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. I am a believer, but whether or not you believe or not, right? There's a higher power. I think almost everybody can agree that. Like, we're on this earth, in this place for a reason and a purpose. And it's to live harmoniously with others.
Yeah.
Right?
All ships rise.
100%. Yeah. And we help. Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, from the moment I met you, I just was blown away, and am so grateful to have been introduced to you. And there's a reason for it,
I felt that with you too, and I immediately called you right after our walk, and I was like, "This woman is incredibly powerful, and the impact that she's made with the hard path that you had to go. Like, you're gonna make me cry. It was devastating to hear your story, but you took that pain and sorrow and turned it into purpose and power, and that's beautiful."
Yeah, and same with you. And so it's like, all right, God, what are you putting Jennifer Bardot and Carrie Andersen together to do? Like, we're gonna move some mountains.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
continue to move mountains. And I'm super excited to see what's next. So a couple other questions. First, how many GRIT members do you currently have?
So it's interesting. So I try to give access to everybody that wants access to GRIT without being a member. So all of the workshops are member only, but I have over 12,000 followers on LinkedIn and 4,000 followers for GRIT. And so people that aren't members can actually kind of get a test trial and come to my luncheons. But right now I'm sitting at about I'm a little under 200. My goal this year is 220. So I think I'm at 175.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
What's the pay structure?
So you can either do annual or monthly.
Okay.
But it's a year-long commitment.
Okay.
So
and it's a nominal price. It's not.
Gosh, it's like $24 a month.
$24
24,
a month.
20 or 47. I don't know. I don't remember. But everything's very affordable. And even like if you want to be an author, I'll work with you and we'll figure out a custom payment plan to make it happen. I never want finances to be a barrier. So everything I've done, like yesterday I was interviewed on Mizzou's podcast and I was their keynote 2 years ago and I was the first one to actually get interviewed again. And he's like, so do you got anybody working for you? I was like, well, I do, but I'm still really scrappy because I don't want the prices to go up for my membership. Right. So I'm really scrappy and I take on a lot of that work so I can make sure that I can provide everything at a reasonable cost and it's accessible and there's no financial barrier.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
I think you need to shout that from the rooftops. Because,
thank you. I do. I really, really do. And I never try to lead by cost. I always try to lead by value. I'm like, 100%. I'm the person that's going to over deliver and undersell.
So, I mean, $24 a month is like a few Starbucks.
Yeah. And you're going to pour into yourself intentionally.
Correct.
But it's interesting for those that are like scared to grow or there's always going to be some obstacle. But once you start pouring yourself and you see that it's important, change happens, but you have to be intentional about it. But yeah, I mean, even my coaching program, like I do that at a nominal fee too. It's like $150. I should be charging like $2,500 an hour, but I don't because I want to make sure I'm actually making an impact.
So you do one-on-one coaching as well?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So how does our audience get a hold of you, become a GRIT member, learn more?
Yeah. So my website for the membership in the community is mygritcommunity.com. mygritcommunity.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jennifer Bardot, Bardot, spelled Bardot, pronounced Bardot. And then if you're looking into the academy where you're doing more independent studies, that's mygritacademy.com. So
amazing.
Yeah. And I also have a podcast production company too, or if you're a leader and you're wanting to produce a podcast, I can help amplify your voice. I do a column in St. Louis Small Business Monthly once a month where I highlight a different leader. That's a total free give back. So like if you're looking to get more branding and visibility, reach out and I will try to help support you.
This is amazing information.
Thank you.
You are truly amazing and God is working through you.
Thank you.
100%. And like you said, on the outside, everyone's like, oh, everything looks so perfect. It's not perfect.
No.
We're all just taking one.
You'll read my story and you'll see my storm.
Right.
There's no such thing as perfect. Right. And if there's something preventing you from just getting up and doing whatever it is that you need to be doing, just do it. Just get started.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the way GRIT started in, 2019 is just a virtual workshop and then a book and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I didn't envision of what I would accomplish in 2026, but it's just getting started. You're always going to evolve. You're not going to be the same person a year from now.
Yeah, you're on fire. I can't wait to see and come along with you on this ride because it's inspiring. It's beautiful.
I'm grateful our paths crossed. So thanks again to Alex.
100%.
And he's going to be in this next book too.
I know. I'm excited. He's an awesome
He is an
human
awesome.
as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of awesome humans here.
Yeah.
Like I love St. Louis. It's really interesting not being from here, being a transplant and meeting. There are so many entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And the way this community rallies around people is, I don't know. I just feel very blessed to be here. So Jennifer, I always ask my guests at the end of the show to share one thing you'd like our audience to take away from our conversation today.
I guess my one thing would be, take the time to pour into yourself, set some goals, and make it happen. Mm-hmm. And if you need support, find someone to be your accountability partner and figure out the steps how you're going to hit your goal. And make sure it's a realistic goal and put a time frame around it. And then make your next goal. And just keep gradually leveling up to wherever it is you want to go. And if you're feeling stuck, figure out why that is and what are those insecurities that are making you feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I'm so glad our paths crossed.
Me too. Can't wait to see what we do next.
Yay.
Awesome. Okay, friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Yes We Can podcast. I'll be back next week, Tuesday, 10 a.m.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the in spa.